The NBA Finals are here, and it's a matchup that I don't think a lot of people would have ever predicted going even into the playoffs, let alone the season, let alone the preseason, let
Nobody.
alone last season, let alone what have you. One of the teams makes sense. OKC has
Pacers
been
fans,
poised
maybe.
to OKC has been poised to make it for a while. And the Pacers are the hot team in the NBA right now. So I ask you guys, what are your predictions? What are your thoughts? We have a finals game tomorrow night at 8:30. What a horrible time placement for the first finals game.
Terrible.
For two teams that are pretty Eastern. Is OKC Central Time?
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah, but
There's middle
it's
of the
still
U.S.
terrible.
But it's still
Yeah, it's still not good. It should have been 7:30. I digress. I don't know who started last. Who wants to go first? Is anyone feeling going first?
I think I went first last time, but even if I didn't, why don't you get us kicked off?
Sure. What do I expect? Who do I think? I don't know. I actually think this is up in the air. I know that OKC are opening as strong favorites. Obviously, they've blown past just about everybody in the regular season. But I got to tell you, I'm not sure I've seen a team that wants it more than the Pacers do. Every team they've faced, they've gone out and they've played their style of ball and they've been aggressive and they've gotten the job done, and they've done it with authority, and they've done it in ways that you didn't really question. They beat the brakes off of our Cavs. They did the same thing against New York. This is a team that they're a tough matchup. It's hard to match up against them in their physicality. That said, OKC on the other side, I mean, talk about a team that has just been dominant. SGA is one of the best players in the league right now.
MVP.
The thing that he might be. The thing that that I find really interesting about this matchup is that the star players from both teams came to those teams by way of Paul George. He was the one that was involved to get SGA, the trade directly to get SGA in OKC, and then, of course, Tyrese Halliburton in Indiana. So I think that's kind of interesting. What do I expect to see? Probably not very strong numbers when it comes to TV. That's going to be my guess with small market teams. They both are really good in the mid-range shooting. I think that'll be a battle there. I think it's going to be who has the hot hand, and I wouldn't be surprised if this series goes to 7. To be honest with you, I would. If I have to pick, I'm gonna.
We'll do predictions at the end. We'll do it in order so we can all kind of put it together. John,
it's
back
for thoughts, 1 week, and the power just
head's huge. Go ahead.
The thing that I think of when I come to this series, the thing I think of when it comes to this series is that Indiana is a team of destiny. I don't believe in it very often. You see it sometimes in the NFL, rarely, sometimes in baseball. Like the Red Sox coming back from down 3-1 against the Yankees is one of the ones that comes to mind. But I'm not going with logic on this one. Logic says OKC, but logic said Knicks in 6 or 7. Logic said Cavs in 4 or 5. And the Pacers have defied the odds and outplayed their opponent every step of the way. I don't know why at this point, after seeing how dominant they've been in the Eastern Conference, they only lost 1 game per series until the ECF, and they only lost 2 to the Knicks. Counting a team like that out just because OKC is better on paper would be foolish. So I'll say my prediction for the prediction part. But what I'm looking for here is to see if Indiana can keep the Magic ride alive, because there's no way in hell anybody could say that team is more talented than the Cavs, or that team was more battle-tested than maybe a team like the Knicks. They got lucky, even though they played really well, that Boston had a key injury to Tatum. But like, this feels more and more like a team of destiny every time they play a game and win a game. And the bet against Indiana right now, in my mind, is silly. So what I'm looking for is to see, can they keep the Magic ride going, or if this is the end of the line and a hell of a run. But I don't think, as good as OKC is, that they scare anybody. And Indiana's the tougher team, even if they're not the more skilled team. And I've seen Indiana out tough a lot of teams in the playoffs this year so far.
Let me ask you guys a quick question, because you make a good point. My question to the Pacers would be, have they been tested? They've had a finals run that, for all intents and purposes, they haven't really been tested along the way. I mean, they had us in control pretty much the whole way. Whereas it went to 7 games, OKC versus Denver, they kind of got that blood in their mouth taste. I wonder if that matters at all.
Yeah. I'm curious. John, you're muted right now, just so you know.
Sorry, does it not matter? I think that's a good point, E.
He comes up
doesn't
and
not
he's like,
matter.
I'll let you know.
It does not matter. I'll raise your question. I want to know, because it seems like both of you guys are on the side of rooting for the Pacers. Do you have a team you're rooting for? Is it the Pacers?
Yeah, I would say so.
Why?
I'm not going to be devastated if they lose, but yeah, at this point, I'm rooting for the Pacers. You?
Yeah, I think I lean that way, even though I was upset that they beat us. I don't hate Halliburton. I don't know why. I think I like the fact that he's been underrated. They're the underdogs. They're the most they're the most, I'm trying to think of the word.
Underrated?
No, they are the most
the biggest underdog.
They are the most underfavored team in like the last 20 years in terms of their matchup. The spread right now, the series odd
gave you the word and you still made one up, but I love it.
I wanted to do it my own damn self, man. I wanted to do it my own damn self. The series odds, the Thunder are minus 450, the Pacers are plus 340. I don't know if I have full faith that the Pacers can pull it out on a 7-game series. You talk about, defensive rating. The Thunder are monsters when it comes to defensive rating. We're talking 106.9 first in the NBA during the regular season, 106.2. They turned it up a little baby notch in the playoffs. Pacers were 14th and 9th when it comes to playoff and regular season defensive rating. But the difference here is, and the reason I think the Pacers do have a chance, is the all-important pace stat that has run with this entire Pacers run, because they are one of the top teams in terms of pace in the NBA. 102.5 in the regular season, 100.2 in the playoff, first in the playoff, mind you. And the Thunder are a little bit underneath that. I think the Thunder can keep up with the Pacers' pace, but we've seen this Pacers team thrive in chaos. They have thrived in chaos, and as the underdog, the entire playoff run, and honestly, since the All-Star break. I don't know, man.
It's interesting, though, because OKC, you got an elite defense that also is really dominant in transition. So, yeah, I can't pick. I'll tell you this. Listen, to both OKC and Indiana fans out there listening, if you want your team to win, all you have to do is Venmo me, because what will happen is I'll take half your Venmo money, I'll put it on the opposite team, so your rival, and the other team will definitely win, because anytime I bet, that's what's going to happen. So whoever sends me more money on Venmo, I can guarantee that your team will win.
That is funny.
It is funny.
That
it's
is
also
really
one
funny.
hell of a year to have the
Facts,
two smallest markets. Like, if you're an Oklahoma City fan, 118,000 people in the whole city or whatever. But
right.
It's a little bigger than that.
It is. I say that. And I shouldn't be throwing darts. Cleveland is the world's biggest little city. Like, we have a small man complex sometimes too. But it is funny that it's like Boston versus the Lakers, you can't get any action. And it's like, hey, everybody who's out there, send me money for Indiana versus OKC.
There's 702,000 of them. If they all send me $1, then I'll put half of that on Indiana
and pocket the rest.
Well, yeah, I'm making your team win. I got to make something from it. If Indiana does end up winning, sorry, I'm not refunding you. But yeah, $1. That's all it takes. For $1, you can save your team.
Quick behind the Angels starts playing. A shout out too I have 2 cousins and my aunt and uncle who live in a city called Marion, Indiana. It's kind of halfway between Indianapolis and Fort Wayne. The reason I bring them up is because they're big Pacers fans and have been for my whole life. So I'm kind of rooting for them for that family tie because I have no tie to OKC. But my aunt was a teacher for like 35 years in Marion, and Zach Randolph was one of her students. And then she had Zach Randolph's son as well. A quick NBA reference.
Zach Randolph was like the least likely, I don't know if you call him superstar, but he was good. He's an all-star player.
Yeah, I mean, he had 3 or 4 year stretch there where he was as nasty as they
really
came.
But you look at him and you go, he's not the guy, and he was the guy there for a stretch.
He was.
So we went through our thoughts. We went through our takes. We went through why we kind of favor the Pacers. We went through why the Thunder's winning this series and being favored makes sense. I mean, they are the best team in basketball, bar none. They have been. What is your prediction? What is your prediction, gentlemen? How many games? Who wins the series? John, what's your prediction?
It's tough, but I'm going to go with this and stand by it. I went back and forth as to who was going to win in how many games. My prediction is going to be Pacers in 6.
6.
Yeah. I think they're going to do what they usually do. Everybody's going to know everything and say everything, and we're all going to feel real confident in Oklahoma City. And then Indiana's going to come out and win 118-101 in the first game. And that line that you talked about, that big gap's going to close. And everybody's going to be like, oh, my God, the Pacers. And then, people start getting tight and nervous. It's the NBA Finals. OKC hasn't been there before. You got a second home game that's almost a quote-unquote must-win, and then you got to go on the road. But I think if the Pacers get it done, I don't think they get a Game 7 done in OKC. I think they got the momentum. I think they're the team of destiny. So if the Pacers get it done, they close it out at home. They still won they still won in OKC and hold home serve or home court. And I think if I literally had to bet an outcome right now, I feel best about Pacers in 6. Next best would be OKC in 7, but I'm going to say Pacers in 6.
Erik, what are you thinking, man?
I'll keep it shorter since my guy had a 1,000-word essay for a prediction. I'm just giving you shit, John. Listen, I'm going to go Pacers in 7, but my real prediction will be whoever takes game 1 wins the series.
Hey, that's crazy. I was going to be my hot take, you son of a bitch.
Oh, really? That's a couple times I've stolen your hot take.
I almost made that my take for this, but he asked for a pick. I was like, I'll give a pick, and then I'll do – literally, I was going to say whoever comes out and wins game 1 wins the NBA Finals.
Well, you got a whole nother topic to think of your hot take.
I'll figure it out. That's the 3rd time that's happened. That's kind of wild.
It is wild.
So we have Pacers in 6. We have a non-answer cop-out. So I'll give a real answer.
I said Pacers in 7.
Oh, did you?
And then I said, but I think who takes game 1 wins it. Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were going to say Pacers in 7. That was my prediction in my head as John was going through his take and watching your reaction. My prediction is OKC in 7. I love a good Cinderella story. I love that they're both small market teams. I love a lot of the stuff that's going on just because of my relation and being able to relate it back to Cleveland and the thought process and what it means for fans of small markets. I think OKC is still the better team at the end of the day. I love the Cinderella story, but how many Cinderella stories end in a championship? I can't think of very many that end with the ring on the finger. It's a great story. We're going to talk
Boston.
about Tyrese Halliburton doing this to our kids one day. John's grandkids potentially, but
hey, I already told you guys the story of Reggie Miller doing it the original time to Spike Lee. Let's not forget
that's
that.
why I said your grandkids, man.
I can guarantee you both I will not be talking to my kids or your kids or grandkids about Tyrese Halliburton doing the choke 20 years from now. No chance.
Well,
you think that's going down in history like Jordan
if the Pacers
shot?
win a championship, I think, yeah, I agree with Noah. Not as big as like Kyrie Irving's shot, but like, bro, yeah.
I said Jordan, but yeah.
No, I was just saying.
Over Craig Elo.
Jordan over Elo was another one, but that wasn't even in the finals. Or they didn't win the final. Well, the Bulls did go on a win, didn't they?
Bulls did, yeah.
That year, I don't think they
stopped us.
They stopped us, but they didn't win. They lost to Detroit that year, I think.
No.
Anyway.
Jordan never lost in a finals matchup, so that's impossible. He only went to 6, and he won all 6.
Right. If he lost to Detroit, it would have been the Eastern Conference.
I thought that was the Eastern Conference Finals against us. Is that not right? It doesn't matter.
It was not.
I think it was the semis, not that I was there for that, so I can't really.
I think the miracle at Ridgefield came before that. I think the miracle at Ridgefield came before that in the first round. And we advanced to play the Bulls and should have beat them. But regardless, I am certain that was not the Eastern Conference Finals.